Hiya, I wanted to do some pelvic floor exercises today. These are some exercises that I do in my pregnancy yoga classes, and they're also some exercises that I do in my antenatal classes as well. What I always explain before I show them is that we tend to think of pelvic floor exercise in that quite narrow way of either urinating and stopping mid-flow, but if you are pregnant, it's important not to do your pelvic floor exercises that way because you are more prone to a UTI, and a UTI can have more consequences in pregnancy than it would do any other time. Or the standard Kegels, that squeeze and release that we do up along the vagina and up the anus. You might just squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release, or you might think of it like a lift, starting at the bottom and then the middle and then the top and then back down again. Now, there's nothing wrong with Kegels. Kegels definitely have their place when we're thinking of overall wellness and strength within that pelvic floor, but probably won't surprise you to learn that Dr. Kegel was a man. And so actually the pelvic floor is a big basket of muscles, and it is literally all the muscles from the front of the pelvis to the back of the pelvis that hold all of the pelvic organs, the bladder, the uterus and the end of the lower intestine, and they hold them, support them nice and strong within that basket. If all we're doing is strengthening that central column, we're ignoring some of the other muscles that have an integral part to play as well, and it actually causes an imbalance, and if we do Kegels alone, it can cause issues. So these exercises that I'm going to show you today, we're actually exercising largely the muscles on the inner thigh. The muscles on the inner thigh interplay, weave into the muscles in the pelvic floor, and so if we exercise these muscles, we'll be exercising these muscles too. Now, in yoga, before we do anything, we always want to take a quick look at the posture, and holding the posture in a way that is what your body biologically expects will help us exercise the groups of muscles that we're aiming for. If we slump and we crouch over, then actually we'll be doing different things with our muscles than what we're planning on doing. So when we're looking at posture for yoga, we want to have a nice straight spine. If you're pregnant, we want to tuck the baby in towards the spine, and you might just want to have a little look in the mirror or in a camera and see what you're doing with your booty. Yeah, it's really, really tempting in pregnancy to touch that booty out, yeah, which is great if you're auditioning for Tyra Banks, but it's not so great if what you're trying to think of is your posture. You'll put lots of strain on the lower back, but as the belly grows, that's our natural response, weighing down here, counter out here, but it's not great for your posture. What we want to be doing is straightening all of that up, tucking baby in towards the spine and making sure that that booty is nice and tight, nice and in line where your body expects it to be. Yeah, and we take that posture all the way up. So spine nice and straight, make sure those shoulders are relaxed. Roll them round, let them slide down. Nice distance between the ears and the shoulders. Lovely deep breath. And let those shoulders relax. Yeah. Make sure there's no tension in your neck. Maybe just a little bit of tick-tock. Taking the ear towards the shoulders while leaving the shoulders nice and relaxed. Gaze up to the sky. Gaze down to the floor. And then just taking it off in the middle distance. Now, if you want to, you can take this into Tadasana, into mountain pose, because especially if you are holding your posture correctly, then actually you will be doing gentle exercises on your pelvic floor anyway. So you can take your feet just hip distance apart, so maybe a little bit wider than your natural stance, and the hands away from the body. And you can breathe here for as long as you want to. This is another one that can be interesting to do in front of a mirror, because we can see what happens with our breath naturally. If we're doing shallow breathing, we end up rising those shoulders to fit the lungs inside our body. If we're doing belly breathing, we just see the belly come out. What we actually want is for that whole abdominal space to be expanding as we breathe. And again, if we're breathing, opening up that whole body, that whole chest to fit the air inside you, then we'll be gently working the pelvic floor. Breathing in itself can gently work those pelvic floor muscles. So nothing is to be ignored or diminished in its importance. Yeah. So let's come to our little sequence now. This is quite fun, and you might want to do it by yourself, because you might find that if you're in a house full of people, they find it very amusing. But it's one where we walk up and round. So I'm going to come back a little bit into the room. So we're going to start off with a penguin. So we've got our feet very, very straight. We've got the heels touching each other and the toes splayed out like a penguin. And we're going to walk. Now you might feel that tightness in your inner thighs as you walk like a penguin. I'm going to go back again. Now you can do laps of your living room if you want, whatever is easier for you. But we're just doing some simple pacing while keeping that posture. Now we take the penguin into the Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, so for Charlie Chaplin, we keep the feet where they were before, but we bring a nice bounce into those knees. So for Charlie Chaplin, we're going to bounce into those knees, up and back. Do you see now what I was saying? But making sure again, look, keeping that spine nice and tall, keeping the shoulders back, nice and relaxed. Lovely. Okay, we're going to come now into tightrope. So for tightrope, we turn the feet back round where they should be, and we're walking exactly as it sounds, just like we're on a tightrope. So the heel of one foot goes to the toes of the next foot. And we just walk as if we're on a tightrope. And again, you might be able to feel the muscle groups that you're working. You might feel this one even stretching up into the glutes, which again is obviously going to weave in to that pelvic floor. So we're just coming back and forth as if we're on a tightrope. Yeah, lovely. Now we're going to take it a bit wider. So we do our tightrope over and over and over, over. See again, if you can isolate the muscle groups that you're working, see if you can feel what your body is doing as you do these steps. Keeping your breath nice and slow and even. So we go back and forth. Lovely. And then the last one that we finish off with is the dance for joy. So dance for joy, again we've got our feet slightly turned out and we're taking really big steps. Now I always put my arms in, but your arms won't actually be working your pelvic floor, but it just brings the exercise up to another dimension. So we're doing a lovely big step out. Yeah, with your dance for joy. And again, you can be doing these in laps, or you can be doing back and forth. Depends on the size and shape of your room. Wonderful. And that's it. So you can do that circuit 2 or 3 times if you want to, or you can just do it the once. Always with any exercise that you undertake at any time, but especially in pregnancy, listening to your body, seeing what it wants from you. Does it want you to do more? Does it want to go deeper? Do those muscles feel slack and you want to really be working them? Or actually, is your body starting to complain and ask you to rest? If it is, listen, take a rest. So that's a nice gentle start on working the pelvic floor. Thank you very much.